In my thesis, my aims have been to see if I could identify correlations between science fiction and popular culture and assess if they are relevant and meaningful to the public and to researchers. Science fiction seems to be closely aligned to contemporary changes in science and society and dwells on the implication of these thought experiments about who we are and what we do.
If any fiction can offer us answers, can move us to action, it may well be speculative fiction.
Does science fiction reflect a general interest, or is it just interesting to nerdy fans? To answer these questions, I distributed a global survey and also carried out a literature review. And in my surveys I found that compared to the fans of yesteryear, science fiction fans today reflect a much more general public. Science fiction is used quite widely in research and not just in science, but advocacy, education and communication. Uses of science fiction were based on the assumption that everyone understood what the researchers were talking about and their own views of science fiction were general. I worked with digital humanities methods, using statistics as well as theoretical approaches, and found that people do define science fiction very, very clearly. This suggests that science fiction is well understood by a quite broad selection of the population. This might be useful if you're designing research that uses science fiction and would improve the research impact if everybody knows what you're talking about. Is it actually relevant? Is it well linked to cultural values and beliefs? To look at this, I analysed over 4,000 magazines with digital tools. I looked for specific topics that appeared and how they might change over time. Tropical peoples and ecology, the emergence of Scientology from its first appearance in Astounding Science Fiction in 1950, what science fiction says about posthumanism, artificial intelligence and evolution. In every case there was evidence both for historical shifts in representations and that these correlated well to real-world events and change. So there were several strands that developed in my thesis. The general conclusions would be that science fiction is very well embedded in our appreciation of technology and society today, and more so than it used to be perhaps. The science fiction is being increasingly used in research, and that it might be helpful to have a clear definition of it for researchers and a clear understanding which is shared with the general public, so it would make research easier to disseminate and have greater impact.